I've been seeing a ton of commentary online about the upcoming movie Longlegs. The marketing department for this film has really been going all out, and I figured wanted to check out the trailer, but they actually have three different spots. One came out a few months ago. A second fuller length trailer came out a month ago. Then they just released the final trailer. So for this this kind of creative breakdown, um, I'd like to kind of look at all three trailers and see what we can glean from it, what shots were being used, what is the audio being used, get a sense of any of the narrative of the movie. Are there any interesting elements that are included in the trailers that are being done as part of the marketing for this film? So I watched two of the three trailers. We'll watch the third together, and it'll be my first time seeing it. And there's so much to unpack. And the early reviews of this movie are overwhelmingly positive. They're calling it the scariest movie since Silence of the Lambs, or the scariest murder thriller since Silence of the Lambs. So, lot of pressure on this film to perform. The trailers, the two of the trailers I saw were really interesting and a lot to unpack. So we're going to dive into that starting. We'll watch the trailers in sequential order. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, turn the bell notifications on. Liking this video, sharing this video absolutely helps support the channel. So really appreciate you supporting us there. So let's go in with the first trailer, and this dropped a couple months ago. This was one of the first things I noticed upon watching this trailer, was the switch between the full frame film and then this squared format, as if it's filmed with a old film camera. You notice, like, you'll even see the frame markings in the footage. So notice the video is actually cropped off. And then we return to the full frame. So I don't know if that's the idea is we're looking back in a memory, or it's definitely not a found footage type thing. It's far too cinematic looking for that. Um, but it's interesting that they're using that. I can only assume it's to create a separation in time in the narrative of the film. Looking at this, okay, she's kind of referenced, she's in a library referencing this book, The Nine Circles of Hell. On her notebook, it looks like she's written, it looks like the word dates. There's a whole bunch of different dates. So one could assume that these are dates of um, murders that have happened that she's trying to research and connect somehow. Book in the bottom left corner, The Dark Lord's Hand. So, reading about this film is connected somehow to the occult, and she's researching a serial killer who could be in an occult. One thing I'm curious about as I was watching this is, you see this, there appear to be in this barn, you see this large cross on the ground. And what I think this appears in one of the other scenes, which it could be a cut, like a cutback scene to an earlier time. So at this point in the movie, we're starting to get these symbols that start slowly appearing on the screen as we actually start to really pick up through the rest of this intro trailer with so many different scenes happening. I as I was watching this the first time, I was pausing this video so many times to try to actually see what each scene was depicting, and it honestly, it's really hard to tell. Like here we have like some sort of clay hand holding a reflective sphere, and you could actually see like the clay tool in the foreground. And here, I one would assume this is the character Nicolas Cage is playing, making model figures. This shot, I watched this shot uh, multiple times because at first I wasn't seeing anything, and then looking really close, you start to see a figure, and it looks like a shadow. But one in the later trailers, it actually looks like a more of a figure, just slowly walking through the aisle, but not quite visible, which is creepy. As kind of this like not really music, but like you hear this kind of like strings creating this ambient noise in the background, which is kind of building that anticipation and excitement. So obviously that shot creeped me out. Now notice once again we're in that square ratio footage. So I'm assuming this is a cutback scene to an earlier time, but notice what's on the wall in the far background is what looks to be the same cross. Now, this then smash cuts into a scene of who appears to be the main protagonist, jumping back from it looks like a box she's investigating because she's wearing gloves. But I think this is just done in the trailer. I don't think these scenes appear side by side in the actual movie. Notice she jumps back from something, but she's wearing gloves to prevent contamination or fingerprints. So whatever she's examining, she sees something that makes her jump back, and they just piece these together for the trailer. Is what my opinion. That is such a creepy shot, right? Just this lanky shadow, like looks like it's crawling into the house, or it's pulling itself up. So maybe this is like coming up from a porch or coming up onto a large windowsill, something like that, but it's pulling itself up and into the house. This was another little scene I had to watch a few times to see what is actually happening here. And from the best I can tell, the character is like draping a blanket over a little girl. So once again, I have to assume this is Nicolas Cage's character draping a blanket over a girl. And then we go right into who I think is still Nicolas Cage. Oh, you know what I just noticed? This is in the square ratio. So one could surmise that this is earlier in time, and I'm fairly certain this is also Nicolas Cage, but now we're in this full screen ratio, and he obviously looks much older, far more white. Um, Interesting. Okay. Actually, play it with sound would help. I, this is once again another very creepy scene. This definitely is like bringing in those cult vibes, and I can't for the life of me, I cannot tell what this is. Like obviously it's a person, but it's so hard to get any details from it. That I mean, once again, like there's so many scenes cut in this. Like so, this I believe is the main character, and then it cuts to what looks like Nicolas Cage's character driving the same car, and you could tell based off what looks like a bottle opener hanging off the rearview mirror. I'm not sure what the symbol is on that. Dog drag. I'm not really sure what that symbol is, but what a cool cut between these two. So, like, one has to wonder, like, why she ends up in his car. And it's like a half second of what appears to be a nun blowing someone's head off in a car. Oh my god, what a crazy shot that was. Like I said, there's so many scenes in this. I mean, this is 90 seconds, 96 seconds, and there's so much. Like, okay, some sort of issue with a security truck. And we cut back to, I wonder if this is the same farmer who, one would have to assume. Oh, I just noticed this. All the clearly he beheaded the cow that's right in the center of the frame, but I just noticed the other cows laying on the side of the frame. I didn't see that at first. So he's just murdered his entire herd. So I wonder if he does this right before he goes after the woman in the farmhouse with that same axe. I would have to assume, because now we're back into that, kind of film stock, where we see the edges of the frame and that square ratio. And here's Nicolas Cage in that convenience store or hardware store. Looks like a bunch of paint cans in the background. They hide him so much in this. And I think, cleverly, like, they're not showing too much. I mean, there's so much in here, but really you have no idea what the context is of any of these scenes. I mean, the last, 10, 15 seconds is just him breathing. I mean, how creepy is that? Okay, so this is the second trailer, and this is the one I have not seen yet. So we get to enjoy this one together for the first time. Oh, maybe you've seen it before. So we hear that, like, right away. You hear Nicolas Cage's voice. And it's in that full frame setup. So, I mean, that's the main character. So perhaps he's stalking the main character in this part. So she goes out looking for him. I keep looking in these windows to see if I see anything, and nothing's jumping out to me. Oh, there it is. I had a feeling as they were, like, bringing this shot in that, like, your eyes keep going to those windows. They're the brightest part in the frame for a reason. Did that figure disappear? It sure looks like it. That's certainly creepy as hell. I'm not a big, and I'm curious your thoughts on this. I'm not a big fan when they hit the strings to symbolize something's happening. I think it's almost scarier when there's no, like, auditory signal of something happening, that it just happens. And this, think about, like, that scene in The Strangers with Liv Tyler standing in the kitchen. You have the The masked man just step into the background, says nothing, does nothing, and then just steps back into the shadows. Absolutely terrifying. But I'm so curious. Like, it really looks like this figure just disappears. Or it could be they walk behind a wall. Maybe there's a wall right there. Maybe that's it. Maybe it walks behind a wall. I don't know.
Is it scary being a lady FBI agent?
Yeah.
Take a nice long look. A letter was left with the bodies. Signed with one word.
So we're using this like old film style. Well, in some of them, not in all of them. That's interesting. Okay. So we have a crime scene photo of a knife, crime scene photo of a dead body. But that's not a crime scene photo. That's back to that film stock. Full screen crime screen photo, film stock. I'm just showing the same photo again. Back to film stock. We saw this in that teaser. What else happened in this? Interesting how, okay, then we put the house upside down. A small child wearing or walking towards it. So that's not a photo, that's a video. Going through newspaper archives. Back to that workshop of creating these clay. Okay. That's a cool transition right there. So he's making these dolls. Then we see the doll. What a great balance. Like, I mean, identical with the eyes. And then takes it right into this character's face. So we have two transitions. The mask to the doll to the face. I get a kick out of like this shot right here. It kind of has this, like, the crane is coming down on the shot, but because it's also coming forward, it just gives this crazy perspective. I mean, the director clearly, we see a little more of Nicolas Cage's face in that. The director clearly is using his framing to just create lots of discomfort, with the audience. Just want to see that last shot again. There's just a pan out shot.
Saw a beast rise up out of the sea.
What was she writing down there? Down low, too slow.
Sea. With 7 heads and 10 horns. And on his horns he wore 10 crowns. On each head was written a blasphemous name.
What aren't you telling me?
He'll kill. And kill again.
I know you're not afraid of a little bit of dark. Because you are the dark.
The second time in this trailer we've seen this upside down footage, but it's back in that film stock and ratio. So is this, and I didn't notice that the first time, of this dark hooded figure.
Do you still say your prayers?
One thing I find really fascinating about this is just the use of the audio of Nicolas Cage in the background, breathing, wheezing. I think that's really effective.
Do you still say your prayers?
Oh, I wonder if under that veil is just the doll. That makes sense. That seems the same framing. And definitely that same. Oh, that's the farmer and his wife in the background. I assume the farmer and his wife. So interesting. I wonder if in the foreground's the main character and her father ended up committing these atrocities and killed all of his cows and killed his wife with the axe. I don't know.
Never once. They scared me. Hello?
You could have made nice with me. But you didn't. And that is that.
God, once again, so many things being crammed into this without any context, which is interesting. Like, that's that farmer's wife stabbing the doll.
To all of this.
We saw that same transition shot from her driving the car to him driving the car.
I'll be waiting.
Oof. All right, so let's bring up the last trailer that they came out with. Which came out 2 days ago.
Don't move.
Is it scary being an FBI agent?
There's that. Perhaps that nun we saw shooting the other character in the car. Once again, great use of audio.
The letter was left with the bodies. We have 10 letters like it over the past 30 years. And all in the sign of one word. Longlegs.
He'll kill.
Okay, so here's the shot in the store again, but it's clearer to see the character in the reflection of the mirror, which in that teaser was much harder to see.
And kill again.
Oh, I get it. She's the cashier. I didn't pick that up before. She's a cashier just working, and he's buying whatever he's buying. And she looks up to see his face.
And kill again.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, what a creepy scene. His voice. You have to assume that's a mannequin in the mirror.
You could have made nice with me.
Okay, so I think that pretty much confirmed that under that is the doll. You can kind of see the eyes, which look creepy as hell. What the hell happens with this doll that I'm just looking to see. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, it looks like they're wearing the same clothes.
But you didn't.
Put the gun down!
And now that.
Well, he didn't get the job done right away. That we see. And that's just a creepy, creepy frame right there.
Has led to all of this.
It's like one of the dolls did not end so well. So I have to assume this scene here is right after that character who I believe is Nicolas Cage smashes his head on the wall, and maybe he does it with such blunt force that he cakes her and the wall behind her with just the splattering of his face. That's hard to imagine. That I don't know.
Don't move.
Okay, so there you have it. I mean, creepy, unsettling. I'm insanely curious. But good news is I only have like a little over a week before this film drops. So let me know what you thought about these series of trailers. I found them really, really kind of fun. They show so many different things happening, but yet I really have no context about the movie, what's happening in the movie, what's the purpose of the doll, how the occult factors into this. Is there any supernatural elements? And I think it's because the scenes are so quickly put together. Pretty good use of audio in regards to like Nicolas Cage just breathing and wheezing through those scenes. That's really, really upsetting to watch. So yeah, I'll be excited to kind of check this out in theaters, but let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section. And always, if there are any trailers or pieces of promos that you want me to review and do a creative breakdown on, drop them in the comments section. Happy to dive into those. Thank you so much for checking out this video. We'll talk to you in the next one. Take care.